Murder by invitation. It won't be long now. And such a fine night for murder, too. Frightened? That's good.
First, I want you to know I brought you here for a purpose. The fact remains that sooner or later I'll leave this vale of tears and laughter. And when I do, I leave $3 million.
$3 million. Not bad, but I wonder who'll be left to collect it. Well, here we go.
Some of the worst serial killers in history have been arrested and trialed, put to death, died. But today we'd look at the most dangerous, deadliest serial killers that are still on loose. The B1 Butcher is an unknown serial killer in Namibia. The B1 Butcher has murdered at least 5 women between 2005 and 2007, with all murders related to the national road called the B1. In 2007, a German-born Namibian was accused of rape, arrested, and later linked to these unsolved murders. However, after a long detention period, he was acquitted for the lack of evidence. In 2008, a man who committed suicide was implicated in the series of murders that ended in 2007, but the connection cannot be conclusively proven. The Daytona Beach Killer is a serial killer responsible for the murders of 4 women in Daytona Beach from December 2005 to December 2007. The killer has never been apprehended. The involvement of the serial killer was feared after the discovery of the first 3 victims. The Stone Man Killer was blamed for 13 murders over a 6-month period, which the first was on the 1st of June 1989, but it has never been established whether the crimes were the handiwork of one person or a group of individuals. The Kolkata police also failed to resolve whether any of the crimes were committed by a copycat murderer. To date, no one has been sentenced for these crimes, making it one of the greatest unsolved mysteries plaguing modern metropolitan Indian police forces. The violent, elusive individual known as the East Area Rapist, and later known as the Original Night Stalker and the Golden State Killer, committed 12 homicides, 45 rapes, and over 120 residential burglaries in multiple areas in California. His victims ranged in age from 13 to 41. These included women home alone, women at home with their children, and husbands and wives. Although 4 decades have passed since this horrific serial killer and murderer terrorized California, on the 15th of June 2016, the FBI and other agencies announced a $50,000 reward for more information leading to his arrest and conviction. So if you know anything about this, please contact the FBI. The West Mesa Murders. On the 2nd of February 2009, a woman was walking a dog and found a human bone on the West Mesa of Albuquerque, New Mexico, and reported it to the police. As a result of this police investigation, the authorities discovered the remains of 11 women and a fetus buried in the area. The women were between 15 and 32 years of age. Most of them were Hispanic, and many of them were involved in drugs and prostitution. No suspects have been identified in this case, and the serial killer is believed to still be on the loose. The Long Island Killer. This is a murderer that has murdered between 10 and 17 sex workers and dumped their remains alongside an area in Ocean Parkway, Long Island. A canine officer that was training his dog found the initial body. At least 9 more will be discovered, with an additional 4 more suspected to be in the area. The remains of the 4 victims were found in December 2010, while 6 more sets of remains were found in April 2011. The Hswang Killer. The Hswang serial murders are a series of unsolved serial murders that occurred in South Korea's city Hswang between September 15, 1986 and April 3, 1991. 10 women were found bound, raped, and murdered. The murders are considered the most infamous in modern history of South Korea and has been compared to the famous Zodiac Killer. The 10 women from the ages of 14 to 71 were found gagged, raped, and murdered over a 4-year, 7-month period. Most of the women were strangled to death by the use of their own clothes such as pantyhose and socks. The New Bedford highway killer is an unidentified serial killer responsible for the deaths of 9 women and the disappearances of additional 2 in New Bedford, Massachusetts between July 1988 and June 1989. All the killer's victims were known to be prostitutes or substance abusers. The Monster of Florence is the common name used for a perpetrator or perpetrators of 16 murders. Nearly all of them are couples that took place between 1968 and 1985 in the province of Florence, Italy, and the same gun pattern was used in all the murders. 4 local men were arrested and charged with the conviction of the crime at different times. However, these convictions have been criticized and ridiculed in the media. Critics suggest the real killer or killers have been identified. Several other suspects were arrested and held in captivity at various times, but were later released when more murders occurred using the same weapon and methods to cast doubt on their guilt. The Frankfurt Slasher is the name given by the media to a possible serial killer who operated in and around the neighborhood of Frankfurt in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania from 1985 to 1990. Leonard Christopher was convicted in the murder of one of the 9 supposedly linked victims, but the others remain unsolved. All the victims were sexually assaulted and stabbed to death. Several of the victims were seen with a middle-aged white man shortly before their deaths. The Highway of Tears. Along a deserted stretch of British Columbia's Highway 16, multiple women have been killed or disappeared. The first murder was found in 1969, while the most recent incident occurred in 2006. On the stretch in British Columbia, many people don't have access to public transit, so their only option is to hitchhike. Authorities found 18 victims have come out of this. An estimated over 40 women have been fallen prey to killer or killers stalking this long stretch of road. Only one of these murders have been solved. The Zodiac Killer, one of the most infamous serial killers that have never been caught. The Zodiac Killer was a serial killer who operated in Northern California in the 1960s and early 1970s. The killer's identity remains unknown. The Zodiac victims, 4 men, 3 women, between the ages of 16 and 29 were targeted. The killer originated the name Zodiac in a series of taunting letters sent to the local Bay Press. These letters include 4 cryptograms or ciphers. Of all the cryptograms sent, only one has been decisively solved. Suspects have been named by law enforcement and amateur investigators, but no conclusive evidence has surfaced. Some people say Ted Cruz is the Zodiac Killer, but who knows? Although the Zodiac has claimed 37 murders in his letters to the newspapers, investigators agree only on 7 confirmed victims, 2 of whom that have survived. Hello, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. If you want to have a look at other videos, please check our channel. Thank you for watching.